Hi there. I was here last week talking a little bit about spring and the impact of spring, so I decided I'd just hop back on today and give you a little bit more information and talk a little bit more about what's going on with this season. I think that there's a tremendous amount of pressure and it's complicated, I think, by the spread of the virus and the level of fear and anxiety that's coming up for people. And so I just felt like this would be a good time to jump on and talk a little bit about what's happening on a seasonal level in terms of nature, in terms of traditional Chinese medicine, and in terms of your own energy. So one of the things I said last week was if you're feeling frustrated, or if you're feeling like a sense of pressure, or that there's a sense of emergency, that is actually a very seasonal thing. And of course, people are operating out of an emergency thing with the fear about the virus. I know that there's folks watching here from Canada, so you may, or I don't know what you're experiencing there, but certainly here in the U.S., there's a lot of information coming out, but it's all kind of a little bit, we don't know a lot yet still. So I don't particularly want to address the coronavirus, since I don't know much about it either. I'm certainly not a medical professional, but I do want to talk about it in terms of what we're experiencing here in this season. Because like I said, in traditional Chinese medicine, every season is connected to a different organ. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about the liver and what might be happening here for the liver. So spring starts actually in traditional Chinese medicine in what feels like the middle of winter. So even if there's still snow on the ground or that kind of thing. Hi, Kamiko. Even if there's snow happening, it's still a time where spring has started. When we hit spring equinox, which is on the 19th or 20th, depending on where in the world you live, that's considered to be the peak of spring. So I think that it's really useful to think about what happens to us energetically at this time. If you think about a plant pushing up through the surface of the earth, that there's a fair amount of pressure, that's happening in terms of our overall energy, and it's also happening in terms of our liver qi. And so we want to keep the liver pretty balanced. I have some notes here about, there's over 500 things that the liver does. So like I said, each season is connected to a different organ. We've got the fall, who's got the lungs, and then we've got the winter is the kidneys, which we're coming out of, and then the liver is the spring, as I said, and then the heart is related to the summer, and then the end of summer, beginning of fall. That period of time in there is stomach, spleen, pancreas, depending on which system you're following, or maybe it's a combination of those three, the digestive system. So here's some of the things that the liver does among, like I said, over 500 functions. It metabolizes fats and carbs and protein, balances them. It manufactures hormones and enzymes, releases bile for digestion, which is interesting because bile is so associated with the emotion of anger, which is also connected to this season and this organ. It helps the body detox from toxic substances, and that's part of why I wanted to jump on today, because as I was walking around Trader Joe's today, and there was a person who was stacking the food and coughing into her elbow, and I saw a lot of people, flinching, and I found myself a little bit like, oh, you should probably be home with a dry cough, because that's one of the symptoms of this particular virus. But that it brought up a sense of anxiety, I think, for a lot of people. And I was thinking, well, let's talk a little bit then about the liver and how to take care of the liver, because part of our immune system and our ability to stay healthy, even in the face of toxins that might be floating around, our ability to detox and so forth, really depends on having a healthy liver. The other thing I have gotten written down here is that the liver helps the blood flow, the smooth flow of qi and blood, and it helps the emotions flow freely. So if you find yourself in mood swings with anger and frustration can come up, that's usually liver qi that's out of balance. Also headaches or itchy eyes or blurred vision or high blood pressure. There's all these different types of symptoms. You can go ahead and look it up online. Just type in liver Chinese medicine or something like that, and you'll get a lot of information about what those different aspects of a liver out of balance is. I'm going to the acupuncturist later to help balance my liver because I really take this very seriously. This is an organ that's really important to support always, but particularly at this time of year. That's why I'm actually doing a webinar, well, that's a streaming video session, a teaching session that's going to go in depth where I engage with you on a Zoom session coming up next week, next Tuesday at around this time at about 12:30 Pacific time, so that we can look at some gentle exercises that we can do to help. By the way, I'm sure you can see from Facebook, I'm Vicki Della Gioio, and I am the founder of the Way of Joy Spiritual Fitness Program, which is based largely on Qigong. And I'm just wanting to bring some information forward in case it's helpful for you. Yes, potential agitation. Yeah, again, if you think about the type of energy that's pushing up and out. I mean, here in the Bay Area, we have a lot of spring flowers and all kinds of signs of spring. I know places in other parts of the world, it's still pretty cold, or I've had people tell me that it's just nonstop rain or that there's a lot of snow on the ground. So but there's little signs that come up, and they certainly come up in terms of your energetic field. So this agitation, anger, frustration is all part of what this season brings to us. I've told, there's a story, I was driving on the freeway about, I don't know, it was a couple of years ago, I think, and as I was driving on the freeway, this guy was tailgating me. You know that sense of pressure that comes from behind? It was around this time of year, actually. It was right in March. And I was driving the speed limit, and I wasn't feeling comfortable to speed up because of the flow of traffic. But he was just kind of pushing, and finally he went into the other lane, and he passed me, and he flipped me the bird. And the first thing that I thought was, oh, there's a liver out of balance, because that's exactly what happens at this time of year. This is a time where you flash floods of anger, floods of irritation, of frustration. Good for you, Kumiko. Good for you for catching that energy that comes up, and it can flare, especially with loved ones. That's a good thing to pay attention to. I'm going to be teaching next week. I'll be teaching some techniques like how to what's called bake your liver to help bring energy into the liver. But what you can do for now, I'd like just to make some suggestions if you're interested in terms of how to support yourself with your liver. To first of all stay calm, which is hard because there's so much happening, particularly in the political system here in the States, as well as with the rapid spread of the virus. That it's very easy to get agitated. See if there's ways in which you can stay calm and do go outside. Do spend some time around nature. Do spend some time around trees, wood. Wood is the element of this time of year. So do be around, especially young trees. If you can get into a park or forest, take a walk and just gentle yourself. Gentle, calm, easy going exercises are also really good. Qigong, yoga, gentle exercises. It's not time necessarily to be pushing super hard, although if you're an athlete or somebody who really needs to work out and that brings you pleasure, of course you should do that. But basically physical activity boosts your circulation, it boosts your liver function, so it's really useful to do. Another thing that you can do is if you just tap the insides of your legs, from your ankles coming up, you just tap pretty vigorously, going all the way up for your calves and then your thighs and down and up and down. Just tapping the liver meridian can be also really helpful to help boost it, stimulate it, make sure that it knows that you're there and that your attention is there and that you're giving it a little bit of love. For foods, drinking lots of lemon water, drinking lots of water in general to help detoxify, because the liver, one big function is that detoxification process. So drinking a lot of water, lemon water really helps the liver avoid bad foods like sugar and white flour. Most people who are watching this probably know that, even if that's not something you want to do, you do know. But you want to particularly avoid fatty foods or fried foods right now, because that really makes the liver work hard, and the liver is going to tend to go out of balance right now. And if you find yourself with flashing anger, or you find yourself with kind of getting a lot of headaches or something like that, that is an indication that your liver is being impacted. Load up on green veggies. I actually wrote some notes for this, so I'm going to read them to you. Chives, parsley, and cucumbers help reduce liver stagnation, so this is a good time to load up on that. Kale, dandelion greens, artichoke, collards, well, pretty much any of those dark green vegetables, watercress help the liver do its detoxification process. It helps release. Broccoli and Brussels sprouts help stimulate liver activity. Asparagus and avocados help your body produce glutathione, which also is important for the detoxification detoxification work that the liver has to do. Hi. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mary Louise. I'll talk louder. Maybe I'll talk louder and it'll come out on your phone a little bit better. Thanks for letting me know. I should have probably stuck in a microphone. So anyway, all of this goes to say, just be gentle, be kind with your liver, be aware of it. Look up online and see what you can find in traditional Chinese medicine. There's a lot of information out there. But the main thing to pay attention to is how can you relax your spirit and detoxify your, support your body, your liver in detoxifying your body. That's again why I'm offering next week. I'm going to be doing this webinar, this online Zoom streaming session. I'll post down below so you can see it. I've announced it a few times as events on my page, so you can also go to my page, Vicky Della Gioio, on Facebook and see. We're going to be working with Qigong, several different Qigong exercises. Qigong is a wonderful way to support any of your organs. It's particularly useful, I find, for the liver in spring. I'll be doing Blossom in the Spring, which is a fairly long, but it's a seated form. It's very comfortable, and it's really good at gentling the liver, calming the liver down. I'll be doing some liver stimulation exercises, as well as some that just tranquilize the liver, so that you can have a sense that, you feel like, oh, I can take a deep breath, I can stay calm, I can stay grounded, even in the midst of what can feel very chaotic these days. And like I said, we're being bombarded with things about fear and things that might make us frustrated and angry. I still remember the faces of the people in Trader Joe's when the worker there was coughing. It brings up a bunch of stuff, and so when you're finding yourself flaring, again, check out what's going on with your liver. Give your liver some love so that you can really stay grounded, stay centered, be prepared, be able to ward off all of those toxins. Increase your Wei Qi field, which in Qigong is your externalized field that helps support and protect you from allergens and pathogens. Because of course we're also, at least here in the Bay Area, we're getting a lot of pollens, which complicates things. People get scared about those symptoms, that if you're sneezing or coughing because of the pollens, or you have itchy eyes. That's all, we're being bombarded on an emotional level, on a physical level. And we also have this urgency coming up and out. This is what I talked about last week in my Facebook Live. There's this urgency of an aspect of yourself wanting to come forward. It could be something that you worked on before that you're wanting to renew or retweak, or you might be have something creative, positive energy that you feel like you want to start a new project. Maybe it has to do with your health practices. Maybe it has to do with how you approach your diet. Maybe it has to do with what you want to do for somebody else, or maybe it has to do with an artistic project. Any of that energy coming up and out, it's going to be pushing a lot. Expect the pressure. It's going to make it easier when you know that you're in alignment with the season. Let's see, is there anything else? Hi, Olga. Oh my gosh, how wonderful to see you. I love seeing your name come here. So that's basically what I had to say for today. I would love to hear any comments of what do you do to help detox yourself in the spring. Olga, I know you're a long-term Qigong practitioner. If you write a couple notes, people can follow you as well in terms of what you offer in terms of practices. But the main thing that I'd like to encourage you to know is that the liver is going to help support your immune system. Being able to ward off those toxins or those pathogens is essential right now. whether you're feeling particularly personally impacted by the health news and health crisis or not, to be able to really have that sense of being able to boost up your immune system so that those pathogens, those allergens are actually kind of bounced back. They can't really penetrate into your core. Okay? So take care of yourselves and join me if you can next week for my Spring Breakthrough online Zoom class, online class that I'm offering just for the public, and I hope to see you there. Until next time, be well and let the chi flow. Bye-bye.